Jeff Paterson covers the Canucks for us, the host of RinkWide Vancouver. Well, at least through 3 games. He's off on a float here, but he'll be back.
You were very conservative, I thought, in planning your vacation. Mm-hmm. Surely no hockey will be played in early June.
Canucks-affiliated hockey will be played in early June. But
into the second week of June? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be real here.
So Irf Gaffar is going to sit in for Jeff here on RinkWide Vancouver as they tackle the Abbotsford Canucks in their Calder Cup playoff run, which suffered a defeat last night deep in the heart of Texas. They go down 5-2 to the Dallas Stars affiliate, the best of 7 now at 2-1 for the Abbotsford Canucks. Jeff, tell us about the game.
Yeah, it wasn't Abbotsford hockey the way that Manny Malhotra wants his team to play. First period was dizzying with 5 goals, and we've talked every time I've been on with you, this penalty kill that was 39 for 40 got torched for a pair in the first period, and gave up a short-handed goal in the first as well. So Abbotsford lost the special teams battle in a big way, but it was just a game trading chances in the first 20 minutes, breakaways and 2-on-1s. Again, that is not the way the Abbotsford Canucks are constructed. They are built to win games 2-0 and 2-1, and they have done that throughout the playoffs and earlier in the series as well. They were getting outshot 15-3 at one point in the first period. And saying all of that, they scored a goal in the final minute of the first and got to the dressing room down 3-2. They were totally fine in that situation, and yet just mounted nothing really the rest of the way. And goal in the second period, and then another shorthanded goal in the third, and 5-2 was the final score. So, look, Texas was in both the games out in the Valley. I think the Texas Stars left Abbotsford thinking, yeah, we're down 2-0, but we played every bit as well and probably deserve a better fate. And so it was a question of Abbotsford doing a nice job limiting Texas's top guns, but best players are best players for a reason. And they showed up and they got into the series last night. And this is my concern now for Abbotsford. Abbotsford still leads the series 2-1. They're in good shape. But there is a middle six crisis with this Abbotsford team, again, built to win 2-0. And that puts a ton of pressure on Artur Silovs. It puts a lot of pressure on guys like Linus Karlsson to continue to score. And guess what? Linus Karlsson had a goal and an assist. He's been in on 5 of the 6 goals that Abbotsford has scored in this series. The biggest problem, though, is that 4 of the 6 goals have come from defensemen guys. Linus Karlsson and Ty Mueller, the only forwards to score for the Abbotsford Canucks through 3 games of this series. So, a lot of people wondering about Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Yeah, he's gone ice cold. Got 1 goal in the playoffs. He has no points in 5. But it goes way deeper than just Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Max Sasson has 1 point in his last 8 games. He leads the American Hockey League in shots on goal in these playoffs and has 3 goals and 6 points in 15 games. I expected a whole lot more from Max. Phil DiGiuseppe scored a big goal in the elimination game against Colorado in the last round. And the empty net, he got an empty netter that night as well. Those are his only 2 points in the last 8 games. So that's a second line. The way that this Abbotsford team is constructed. Sammy Blais, how much did I rave about Sammy Blais in the early going, guys?
Yeah.
Sammy Blais scored 2 goals in the Canucks playoff opener. He has 1 goal since. And that was 12 games ago.
Yeah.
So it's Blais, it's DiGiuseppe, it's Sasson, it's Chase Waters, it's Tristan Nielsen. Those are the middle 6 along with Lekkerimäki, and they're just getting absolutely nothing right now. And all of a sudden, Texas's best players are starting to show up. So there needs to be a response from the Abbotsford Canucks.
And Ratu's gone for the foreseeable future as well. The second injury, was it a re-aggravation? Do you have any sense of it's a
there's
re-aggravation?
Just no information. Complete cone of silence around this team, especially when it comes to injuries. So you judge them by who's in the lineup when they get to the warm-up, and that's about the best you can do at the American Hockey League level.
Yeah, a cone of silence around a minor league team. Anyways.
Yeah.
Lekkerimäki, Sasson, Blais, all -2 last night. 5 goals against She Loves. How many were on him, Jeff?
You know what? I didn't think any. 2 power play goals, the 2 shorthanded goals, and the 1 5-on-5 goal. And boy, 5-on-5 scoring's been at a premium. Each team has 1 5-on-5 goal over the last 2 games. But the 5-on-5 goal was a 3-on-2. He stopped the initial shot, and the rebound was there. So it was a ton of point-blank, one-timers, time and space. I do wonder if Texas has found something in this Abbotsford penalty kill that no other opponent has been able to unearth yet. Now, it was just one game, but it was shocking, quite frankly. It was a blow to the system to see Texas score twice on the power play in the first period. And so you just wonder, the opener of this series, each team had one power play. And last night, refs were quick on the whistles. They weren't getting away with anything. And I don't think Abbotsford wants to turn this into a special teams battle. Again, Texas right now has 4 of the top 5 scorers in the American Hockey League playoffs. That's what Abbotsford's up against. So you got to hold those guys in check. You don't want to take penalties and put them on the power play, especially now that their top guys are starting to feel it. Mate Blumel, who led the American Hockey League with 39 goals in the regular season, he got his first 2 of the series last night. He had 7 shots in the hockey game. Look, Artur Silovs has been a miracle worker. I think he's raised the bar to the point that you just expect that he's going to get shutouts and give up 1 goal. But guess what? He can't stop them all. Last night was the first time in these playoffs that he's surrendered 5, and it's just the second time that he's given up more than 3 in a game. So they're 15 games into this thing. It paints a picture of just how well he has played. But you get deep in the playoffs, you're facing good opponents, they are going to score some goals. And so now it's a question of, can Abbotsford limit the Texas attack and get it back to those lower scoring, lower event games? Or if Texas starts to pull away, is there any way that Abbotsford can match? So again, Abbotsford leads the series. This is not a time for a panic button. Nobody should be looking for the panic button here. But Texas probably feels it's got some momentum on its side now with another home game coming up. The one thing I will say, the Abbotsford Canucks have earned every benefit of the doubt with the way that they have played since March the 1st, the win streak, their ability to respond, the coaching changes, the tactical changes that Manny Malhotra has made. Again, I look forward to seeing the response here on Wednesday because Manny, for the most part, has pushed every right button in these playoffs. And so he gets a day off here to go over some tape, try to figure some things out. And again, this team has been resilient. They've lost 5 games outright in their last 33 hockey games. So I'm giving them every chance to bounce back. But ultimately, we can talk about it. They're the ones that have to get out there on the ice and do it.
Danila Klimovich was drafted largely because of his performance at the World Under-18 Championships. They took place in Texas. We tap into his Texas love and see if he can provide some spark because it's just on Linus Karlsson right now. So, Jeff, is Linus Karlsson just doing the same sort of net front presence? How is Linus Karlsson continuing to contribute for this team? And, as we chronicle his likely ascension into a full-time NHL role for next season, are you seeing more from him? What are you getting?
His goal last night parked himself in front of the net in Arshdeep Bains. I thought he had scored his first of the playoffs, but the shot actually hit Linus Karlsson. But that happens when you plant yourself in front of the net to take the goaltender's eyes away. Made nice play on the initial goal as well, he and Bains. Arshdeep's coming along now, and that's some good news for the Abbotsford Canucks. He's been in on 4 of the 6 goals that they have scored. So again, it goes back to that notion of the top line certainly carrying this hockey club offensively, but for Linus Karlsson, it just feels to me like this willingness to be involved and make every shift count. And he's got enough finish and got a little good fortune last night, but he's got that nose for the net. When the puck's around it, he's able to find it. And his goals aren't necessarily pretty, but at this point of the proceedings, it doesn't matter what they look like. It's just a question of do they score. And I think it's important too. When I talked about the struggles of the middle 6 guys, the Abbotsford Canucks are 6 wins away from hoisting the Calder Cup. Like, if Nate Smith scored every goal the rest of the way for the Abbotsford Canucks and they won, nobody in that room would give a damn, right? Like, no. They're that close. But it's going to be tough, and Nate Smith has not done an awful lot offensively. So, it's a lineup that has these veterans and guys that have been longtime AHLers. You'd love Lekkerimäki to rise up, but it's just been so quiet around him. And 5 shots on goal in the last 5 games, more than the goals. It's just, I want to see volume shooting. We say the same thing with Brock Besser at the NHL level. Lekkerimäki, get the puck on your stick, be selfish, don't look to set up others. You've got this God-given talent to beat goaltenders with a shot. Use it. Take those shots, make goaltenders make saves, and unfortunately, right now, just a lack of involvement for Jonathan Lekkerimäki.
Well, quiet around him, but also quiet around the Abbotsford Canucks when they lose games, Jeff. What's going on here? They have a content team on the road, but they just, after losses, don't publish much?
Yeah, I don't know what the organizational philosophy is, but it does sort of feel like, okay, if we don't acknowledge the loss, maybe it didn't happen. But if I go to the American Hockey League website, I do see that the series is 2-1. It is strange. Like, this deep into the playoffs, I want to know what Manny Malhotra thought of the loss. I want to know what he saw, what he, where he thought the game got away from them. And I think you owe it to the fans at this stage, and especially when you've got personnel. I know earlier in the playoffs, they traveled lightly and they didn't have a full staff out there, but they're down to the Final Four now. And so if that is a directive from above that let's not acknowledge the losses, that just seems like a really curious way to go about business.
On to the Vancouver Canucks, Jeff. We're asking on our Bogey Juice poll question today, do you have confidence they'll be able to land a top 2 center this summer? What says you?
Yeah, I think that they're going to pull out all stops and be aggressive and make a trade. Is it going to be the right fit for this hockey club? Is it going to be a guy that absolutely moves the needle? That has yet to be determined, and it's going to be about the asking price and what they're willing to part with. But I think Jim Rutherford has laid his cards bare here, and that's kind of the way that he operates. He's not afraid to say things and speak his mind. It's not tipping off the rest of the league. The rest of the league can look at this Canucks roster and recognize that it's not good enough. And so now it's a question of playing, let's make a deal. I mean, I get a chuckle out of all the reports out of just about every market that every GM is going to be aggressive this offseason. And I expect that the Canucks will be in that group as well. So I don't see them swinging and missing. Like, I don't think that's an option. They've got to get in this trading game, whether it's ahead of the draft, whether it's draft weekend, whether it's in those days leading up to free agency. But Rutherford himself has said, like, if we have money to spend in free agency, which basically I think is a bit of a tell that they're planning to do their business early. That's been a hallmark of Jim Rutherford throughout his managerial career. So I'd vote yes on the poll question, but right now, with the Stanley Cup final starting up again, I'm not surprised that it's relatively quiet in terms of linking the Canucks to actual names and potential trading partners, but that will fire up the minute that the Stanley Cup is doled out.
We've already seen some people concerned. Yes, they're going to get their guy, but it's going to come at a cost that people will not like. Do you feel like that's what it's going to be?
Yeah, I'm expecting that they're prepared to sort of empty the war chest here, and they need it. We know that, and that's all of that is around not knowing what they have in Linus Paterson and what version of Linus Paterson would show up on the doorstep for training camp if, in fact, he's still on the roster. And I guess that's a side story here until his trade protection kicks in. But yeah, like I do anticipate, and so the 15th overall pick in and of itself, I mean, it's an asset, but it's not going to land you what you're looking for. And so it's a question of what are the plus and plus if they have to go that far. And we've certainly kicked around all of the names. And so now it's a question of, what's attractive to your trading partner? What are the Canucks willing to part with? How far are they willing to go? But yeah, I guess as I sit here with weeks out, I am anticipating them paying a significant price to try to upgrade at that center ice position.
Is Matt Barzal the guy then? The Islanders have cap trouble. He can really skate. He's local, can play the middle. What do you think of Barzal?
Yeah, I'm a big fan if he's completely healthy, and I know that that was certainly an issue for him last year. He's a wizard on his blades. Like, he's a ton of fun to watch. People know that about him. The local angle is value added, I suppose, but I don't really care a player's place of origin. If he can come in here and help the hockey club, if there is marketing opportunities and those types of things because he's played here before or lived in these parts and was raised here, that's great. But no, I like a lot about Matt Barzal. Obviously burst onto the scene with an 85-point season as a rookie, won the Rookie of the Year that year. It was always going to be difficult to stay at that level, but I think in the right situations, if this guy is out there running a power play, a big part of a first unit power play, there's no reason to think that he can't be highly, highly productive. So is he the right guy? Maybe. there's enough smoke with the Islanders and the changes that they've made, and Matthew Darche probably, we see that most times a new guy comes in, wants to make a bit of a splash and put his stamp on the hockey club. I know that we certainly kicked around the idea of Bo Horvat. I think we had differing opinions of whether that was a reality, but the Islanders can't live in that mushy middle either, right? Like, I do think that they've got to make some things happen there, and so not the most far-fetched idea, I think, to believe that Matt Barzal could be a trade target for the Vancouver Canucks.
Have you done any deep dives on Kevin Dean?
Just anecdotally know that a highly respected guy with a keen eye on the defensive side of the game, worked under Bruce Cassidy in Boston for a bunch of years, was the head coach in Providence, was Jake DeBrusk's head coach in the American Hockey League, and then, of course, would have worked the bench with DeBrusk in Boston. Overlapped with the tail end of Zdeno Chara's career, so would have had a chance to work with one of the greats, Charlie McAvoy, as he developed as well. People speak highly of him. I think the Boston experience, coming from an organization like that, lots of good experience there. The last couple of years in Chicago, I'm sure we're trying, so maybe he's ready for a fresh start in that regard. Mm-hmm. And I think what I like most about Kevin Dean is, and there aren't a lot of these guys, but he was an Atlanta Thrasher briefly in his playing days. In fact, was a teammate of Ray Ferraro's in Atlanta, but a dying breed, certainly. There aren't a lot of guys that can say they were Atlanta Thrashers, but no, he's gone on to a successful coaching career, highly regarded, and I think the assistant coaching game is difficult to assess, right? Like, nobody really knows the value and sort of the roles and the responsibility. I mean, we get the broad brush, but in the day-to-day, it's hard to know the impact and the effect that an assistant coach is having. That said, there are so many vacancies out there right now. Teams are trying to fill staffs, and I think Kevin Dean was going to be in demand, and so I think on that level, you have to look at it as a win that the Vancouver Canucks identified him and seemingly got their guy. So, not doing flips, not running around with confetti cannons, but I think, I think he has. There is the potential for this to be a very good hire for the Vancouver Canucks.
Are you ever running around with confetti cannons, Jeff?
I don't make a practice of it, no. So, fair enough.
So, maybe we can get on the boat
guilty as charged,
today.
Yes.
Maybe we enjoy your float, enjoy your time off. Look forward to chatting next week.
Yeah, and I certainly hope that the Abbotsford Canucks have punched their ticket to the Calder Cup final and can jump back on RinkWide and the championship series. But again, they got to be better than they were last night, and let's hope that they are.
Yeah. Well, we'll hear about their wins. We know that. Thanks, Jeff.